Sorry. 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 If you're offended, sorry. 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 If you're offended, sorry.
Here we are.
Here we are.
First episode of Sorry If You're Offended.
I'm offended.
I'm kind of offended too.
I'm offended that it took us this long to do this.
Completely agreed. So this episode, this podcast is just about things that happen currently in the world and how people freak out about it because we live in this
Bubble.
Yes. And how people should kind of, before they react, they should maybe take a look at both sides of the story. So I guess today is December 7th?
December 7th, 2019, in the year of our Lord.
And some of the current things happening, I guess we've talked about this, not on the podcast, but we'll talk about it, is I guess the Michael Vick.
That's a huge one right now, yeah.
Yes. So you want to kick it off with, or should I guess, kick it off?
Yeah, just kind of recap what's going on.
All right, so Michael Vick just got nominated to be one of the Pro Bowl captains, and people are freaking out because he is a dog killer.
As your dog has its head on your lap.
Yes, as my dog is just staring me in the eyes. Yeah, so Michael Vick kills dogs, and people are freaking out because the NFL wants to still give him a chance to do what he does.
Well, it's kind of an oversimplification. Michael Vick was involved with some illegal dog fighting rings and did some horrible things. Yes, many, many animals were killed in brutal ways, and it was absolutely disgusting what he was a part of. The issue here, though, is that this happened, I don't even know how many years ago, 10 plus years ago. And at the time that it came out, he was charged for his crimes, and he did go to jail for a period of time. I mean, you could debate whether it's long enough or not, but the fact remains that he was sentenced, he served his time, and in the eyes of the law, he paid his debt to society.
I completely agree. But some people we know on Facebook, no name dropping, don't agree. Actually, a lot of people on Facebook don't agree. They got the petition to get him to not be part of this.
Yeah.
I just don't get how I don't get how they're doing it now, for the fact that even back in 2011 he was brought back into the league, played football, and since he's been on all of the broadcasts talking about football. And
But that's the thing kind of blows my mind, and I'll preface this by saying that I don't think that Michael Vick is a good person. I don't think that he should be representing anybody, and he definitely shouldn't be celebrated. But the issue is that the story is over with. It's old and it's played out, and this new wave of outrage is simply a symptom of the society that we live in. As you said, Vick not only went to prison, was out of the league for, I believe, 3 years, but when he came back into the league and regained his position as a starter, you didn't see this kind of public outrage. I mean, there were people who were pissed, of course, but it wasn't to the point that it is now, that you have people who don't even give a shit about the NFL or football taking to Facebook to stand on their soapbox and preach.
yeah, completely agree. Continue. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. It's just, I think it really just kind of shows the outrage society that we live in, that people will latch on to anything that they feel any kind of moral or pseudo-moral opinion, I guess, about. I can't think of the best way to phrase it, but I don't think the issue is actually about Vick or the dog fighting. I think it's just another reason for people to take to their public platform and basically show how they're so much more enlightened and woke than everybody else.
Yeah, get their likes and their approval from everyone just so they can be satisfied
Exactly.
for about 5 minutes.
Exactly.
I mean, if we're really going to ban Michael Vick, I mean, we might as well ban O.J. Simpson from Twitter.
Yeah, well, they probably should.
Yeah, hello, Twitter world. But, yeah, I mean, that's a very touchy subject for some people, but...
Well, and I think it brings about a larger discussion as a whole, is that we build up the idea of celebrity to near godlike status. And then when the celebrity acts in a way that is human, which is to make a mistake, we're outraged and we act like we're shocked by it. But at the end of the day, these athletes, actors, musicians, whatever you want to say, they're just people. And of course they're going to make mistakes. And of course there's good and bad ones who happen to have talent. And it's just kind of, it goes along with the part of putting so much emphasis on entertainment and distraction, is that we have to accept that they're people. And just because they do terrible, horrible, fucking awful things, I don't think that it should preclude their right to continue in making their art or their craft or their whatever you want to classify a pro athlete as, because we're not paying them for being good people. We're not watching them because they're good people. We're watching them because they have a talent, and we're listening to them because we like their music or whatever it might be. And historically, if you look at any sort of public figure, you're going to find good and bad in them, and you can't minimize their contributions to history or society just because they're pieces of shit as people. I mean,
yeah, I mean, even look at ourselves. I mean, we've all made mistakes. We've all done things that we regret that probably aren't great.
daily.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we can't hold people accountable for stuff that happened years and years and years ago, especially if they've paid their time.
And to be clear, you know, both Scott and I agree that what Michael did.
Oh yeah, he is a piece of shit.
Yeah, completely fucked up. He's an awful human being, and he should never be in the public spotlight again. But at the end of the day, if his employer, which in this case would be the NFL, chooses to continue employment with him, that's really their fucking business. If you don't like it, turn the TV off.
Exactly.
And at the end of the day, we're talking about the Pro Bowl. Nobody gives a shit about the Pro Bowl. Nobody watches the Pro Bowl.
Nope. I don't even think the pros watch the Pro Bowl. Actually, I think they probably do, because they're weird. But
I have 4 fucking fantasy leagues. I would rather take a nap than watch the Pro Bowl, and I'm not kidding. So again, it's just another reason to be outraged. Just another reason to draw attention to yourself. It's just another reason to trigger those endorphins in your brain by getting strangers on Facebook to agree and think that you're cool, and shape this image that you're some kind of compassionate and woke human being, when in reality you're just boring and sad and you have nothing better to fixate on.
Yep. I think a lot of people should be focusing on themselves instead of pointing fingers, but
or larger issues in society than the fucking NFL Pro Bowl. I mean, come on.
Well, I guess we can want to drop this one? We want to keep going a little bit with it.
We can move on.
All right.
I've said my piece.
I completely agree with you. Fuck Michael Vick, but
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
know,
If Michael Vick somehow hears this, you can go fuck yourself.
yes. And if you don't like it, don't watch it.
And one thing about this podcast, if anybody out there in the world happens to, for some reason, decide to listen to this, you're always more than welcome to contact us if you want to discuss or have your opinions heard. We're more than happy to,
Yeah. Currently, we do not have our email out, but we will be having an email that you'd be able to contact us with all of your displeasures or pleasures about the show.
Yeah, maybe we once we set that up, we can read a few emails or something at the end of a show. Again, we're not out to necessarily offend anybody, but if we do, you're more than welcome to voice your concerns. It's just, we look at the way that the world is right now and the way that people are, and there's something very wrong with the way that we're going about things, and that's really the basis of this.
Yeah, exactly. I think that was a perfect way to put it. So dropping the Michael Vick thing, since we are in the Michigan area, did you hear the Kid Rock story?
I heard a little bit about this, but we'll go ahead and fill us all in, Scott.
So Kid Rock got drunk in Nashville and told Oprah and a whole bunch of other women to suck his dick sideways.
Okay, no, I didn't hear this one.
You didn't hear that part?
No.
He got drunk on stage.
I heard that he ranted about Oprah, but I didn't hear that he told her to suck his dick sideways.
Yeah, well, that was part of the rant, yes.
Okay.
He told her, and then I think Joy Bayard or people from The View, and I don't know, other women. But the issue here is people are trying to say Kid Rock is racist. And Kid Rock recently just got kicked out of LCA, Little Caesars Arena, his restaurant.
That I did hear, so that's what I thought you were talking about.
For him being racist for that comments. I think that's why I got kicked out for the Oprah comments.
I thought it was just because nobody fucking wanted to eat there.
Well, that too. Because let's be honest, I don't hate Kid Rock, but I'm not a Kid Rock fan. One of our best friends is a huge Kid Rock. Few of our friends are huge Kid Rock fans. I don't think me and you are.
No.
But
I did like Devil Without a Cause, full disclaimer.
Yeah, of course.
When I was in 6th grade, that shit was fire.
But do you think Kid Rock is racist?
I think that if you're judging if you're judging your opinion of whether he's racist or not based on one rant where he happened to include a black woman, then that is absurd. I can't fully answer one way or the other because truthfully, I don't know anything about Kid Rock, so maybe.
I know a tiny bit, and the one thing I would say that would definitely say he's not racist. I mean, he did marry a black woman.
He also had a black drummer.
Yes,
so.
which I'm pretty sure that was his wife.
Oh.
I think that's the one he married.
Really?
I'm pretty sure.
She looked like Mabel from the WWF.
I know, she wasn't very attractive, but...
that wasn't racist either. That was just, she was a very handsome woman.
Yeah, very butch.
But like I said, I can't really say one way or the other that, definitively Kid Rock is racist or definitively Kid Rock's not racist. I think if you're asking me if this episode makes him racist, then no. I mean, if he was ranting about a bunch of people, including Joy Bayard and the people from The View, and it just happened to include Oprah, then why are we even separating? Why are we even talking about race? This is exactly the problem. You want, equality and things like that. Just because someone is black doesn't mean you have to separate them from any kind of conversation. Just he ranted about public figures.
Yeah.
Why Oprah? I don't know, but I mean,
I think the issue, if we were going to talk about anything about being against anything, it sounds a little bit more sexist than racist.
I would say so. Oh yeah, I would definitely believe he's sexist. I mean, he's as white trash as they can be. He looks like he's straight out of the trailer park. He looks like if you touch his skin and be sticky.
Hey, he's ball with the ball,
What's he got against Oprah? I mean, kind of fuck Oprah, but
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same. I mean, Oprah's good, but at the same time, I could see where she could be evil.
I feel like Oprah's like Walmart. She just owns everything. She's too powerful. I don't have a problem with her personally. I just feel like she's too powerful.
Me too.
When people are like, "Oh, Oprah should be president," no, she shouldn't. Why should Oprah be president?
Just because she gives everyone a car at her shows, or what?
What has Oprah ever done that she should be president? Maybe she would be a good president, but I've literally never heard her say anything about politics. Mm-hmm. People are just like, "Oh, she's very personable, so she should be president." Well, I'm sorry, folks, but there's more qualifications for being president than being personable. So
I agree.
Oprah should never be president. Don't vote for Oprah. If you're listening to this, please don't ever vote for Oprah. Unless she comes out and she has some amazing social programs and, she can fix the economy or, bring world peace. I would vote for her, but just if you're voting for her because she's Oprah, then you need to reevaluate your political
Yeah, I feel like a
opinions.
lot of people vote for people just because they're people.
Yeah, they like their personalities.
Yep.
That's the whole thing about politics is that a person can be a terrible person and be a good politician. And I'm not saying about the current, political situation. I'm just saying in general, a person's personality, a person's character, on a interpersonal level doesn't necessarily dictate the way that their politics are going to be. It's all about their, their plans to fix things and how they interact with other world leaders, things like that. I don't know. That part, just cut that whole part out. I don't even know what I was trying to say.
All right. Let's see what else I wrote down for today. Oh, all right. We're kind of on politics. So I was thinking, I get the whole money in politics thing and how, you can donate to a person so much money. As a donor, I think we're only allowed to donate $3,000 or something like that to each person. But if you're a PAC, you can donate to the actual Democratic Party so much. But my whole issue kind of is, I'm kind of sick of getting emails from Bernie Sanders or Pete Buttigieg or Kamala Harris or whoever it is to keep emailing the shit out of me saying, "Hey, donate money, donate money." The whole point is, you're arguing our middle class is gone, our lower class is depleting, everyone's losing money. Yet you want us to give our money to you so you can run for president.
Right. Well, especially when your biggest voter base is people who historically live in poverty, and then you're going to say, "Give me what you don't have so that I can help you get more." It kind of doesn't make any sense at all.
And especially when most of these people are millionaires.
Yeah, 100%. Why aren't you funding your own campaigns?
Yes. It just blows my mind.
It's the whole, there's so many, that's like an onion of a conversation because there's so many levels there. The cost of advertising and things like that is just absurd. The amount of money that people pour into things are, businesses charge, or for airtime and these debates, and the whole fucking thing is broken. But you actually kind of made me think of another interesting and irritating thing, because you mentioned the Bernie Sanders thing. So 4 years ago, I did vote for Bernie. I am historically a moderate. I don't really consider myself affiliated to either political party, but I did vote for Bernie. I believed in him, and I signed up for his mailing list. I did a small campaign contribution just to get some free stickers and swag and stuff. Ever since then, 4 years ago, I get hundreds of emails, not just from Bernie Sanders, but from any liberal ideology that they're trying to push. They email me about. They just automatically assume.
Yep.
They're like, oh, sign this petition to take away kids' BB guns and shit. It's like, dude, no, I'm not gonna fucking sign that. Like, it just blows my mind that because I voted for one person, they assume that I'm completely in line with every single piece of ideology that they try to push. I think that political parties in general, are a problem. Because I don't think anybody should vote based on party affiliation. I think you should vote based on your personal opinion of the issues and how the candidates best represent those issues. So for me, like I said, I'm a very moderate person. I agree with a lot of Democratic ideology as far as personal freedoms and things like that. But on that same token, I agree with a lot of Republican ideology, because I believe in all personal freedoms, including the right to bear arms and things like that. Not even constitutionally, just as a human being. Like, you have no right to take away my ability to defend myself. I'm sorry. You can.
Yeah, I completely agree.
So I believe in freedom for everybody, as long as what I'm doing doesn't hurt you directly. I am on board with stronger sanctions and stricter background checks and things like that. But taking away personal freedoms, that's not something I jive with. So like when I get these emails and it's like vote to take away whatever, I'm like, I'm floored by it. And it's all like comes back to this like changed out word culture where people with kind of like the Michael Vick thing,
Yep.
People starting these petitions thinking that they're shaping the world. It's like, you're not fucking doing anything.
No.
You're sending you're signing this petition so you can post it on Facebook and say, hey, look what I posted.
Yep.
And
just
then,
look what I support, and look what I'm doing for the world. And
right. So, and I think that the problem here, and the reason I kind of got on this rant, is that because of this, it's kind of like a snowball effect. And I think that people who maybe don't have a strong personal opinion about certain issues, they side one way or the other because they see other people with similar ideology in other areas siding one way or the other. And it's kind of like a mob mentality. It's like, okay, so this is how the left wing views whatever issue you want to pick, and so that's how I'm going to shape my opinions without even really stepping back to look at both sides and how it affects them and their family and their communities and things like that. It's just getting on board with what the rest of the world is doing. Well, their world,
Yes, exactly.
So it kind of bothers me when I get those emails, because I think that not only does it bother me because it's annoying as fuck, but it bothers me because I think that for those who don't consider certain things or don't think about certain things or don't have strong opinions about certain things, they're having their minds made up for them instead of taking the time to think for themselves. And that's dangerous.
I agree. The other day we were talking about left-wing and right-wing things, and how the left wing is, supporting all this stuff, and how basically both right-wing and left-wing people, they kind of want freedom, yet the left-wing people are voting in more government.
Yeah.
So it's kind of contradictory.
It is. I mean, the whole, like I said, the whole political party thing is broken, and there is no 100% right answer to anything. I mean, let's be honest here, folks. Any issue you look at is so multifaceted. If you can look at anything, it doesn't matter what it is, not just guns or gay rights, abortion, anything. If you can look at any issue and 100% conclusively say that this is your opinion about it, then I'm sorry, but you're wrong. There's many dimensions to every single thing, and you need to take the time to consider all of them. And yes, maybe from a personal aspect, you have strong ties to one way or the other, and maybe in sometimes the right answer, people get hurt, and that's just the way of the world. And unfortunately, you got to look at the impact of on society as a whole, and not just the impact on a certain group of people for anything. So I'm just, like I said, I'm not here to tell you how to think about anything. We're here to tell you to think. That's the whole thing.
Yes, exactly. Before you just make an assumption because, I'm left wing, look at both sides.
100%.
Take a view.
Same thing with, people who are right wing and historically are very closed minded, and have a lot of fucked up opinions about a lot of things when it comes to personal civil liberties and personal freedoms. They need to do the same thing and step back and look at like, hey, is this even affecting my life? I think that's the question that people fail to ask themselves these days.
Yes, how much does this actually personally affect me?
And if it doesn't, hey, first of all, everybody's welcome to have an opinion about everything, and that's something that I think has gone out the window. And like I see so many times on social media, people arguing that, you can't have an opinion about this because you never lived through it, or you're a white cis male, so you don't understand. Okay, yeah, you're right, I don't understand, but I am a human being and I'm living in the world and I'm seeing these things unfold around me, and I have the right to have an opinion about anything that I want to have an opinion about, just like anybody else in the world does. But you also have to understand that your opinion doesn't matter, number one.
Mm-hmm.
And number two, when you're formulating your opinion, you should look at the situation and really just step back and ask yourself, why do I even fucking care? As a white cis male, why do I fucking care about
abortion?
Oh, yeah, exactly. I don't, because I'm never gonna. Hey, newsflash, hot take. I'm never gonna fucking get pregnant. So why do I care?
Yep. It doesn't affect you.
Not at all.
I'm not gay. Why do I care about gay rights?
Exactly. One way or the other.
Yep.
Hey, you want to be gay? You're more than welcome to. I mean, do what makes you happy. That is what life is about. Is about the pursuit of happiness. That is one thing the founding fathers got right. That is what everything we do comes back to, is we are all in the pursuit of happiness in one way or another. So whatever you do, whatever makes you happy and comfortable and feel good in your own skin, then do that. But don't expect me to, throw you a ticker tape parade, or you know what I'm saying, or
Yep.
have a strong opinion one way or the other, because I have no skin in the race, at
Yep.
the end of the day. As long as you're not affecting me, hey, you do whatever you want.
Yep, I completely agree. All right, let's see what we got next here. I wrote down. This is kind of funny because everything we talk about, then I look at, then it touches on the next thing I want to talk about. So, Billy Dee Williams.
Lando Calrissian?
Yes. Did you recently hear how he came out as gender fluid?
I did not. This is news to me.
I think he's 86.
Is he really? Oh, he would have to be.
He's pretty up there, and he recently came out with he's gender fluid. So I guess my question is this? I mean, I guess even if he is comfortable and this is how he feels, why wait so long? And is it really how he feels, or do you think it might be a stretch for him to try to just be relevant?
I think that's a dangerous. I think that's the danger of the whole situation, honestly. As far as why wait so long, if this is truly how he feels and how he's felt his whole life, then the world has changed. And I mean, when he was at the height of popularity, when he was in Rocky and when he was in Star Wars and all this stuff, the world would not have accepted, Billy Dee Williams, considering himself, identifying as female or wanting to be female or whatever, however you want to put it. So I definitely feel like if it's truly legitimate, then the time is now for everybody because of where we are as a society. But I do think that you raise an interesting question because, again, he is very old now, and even if he feels that way, what does coming out as gender fluid do for him? He's not going to start living as a woman at this point in his life.
Exactly.
It's basically just making an announcement for the sake of making an announcement. Like, hey, live your life that way, Billy D. Do your thing.
Yep.
100%. Why do you have to announce it to the world? Why not just do it?
Mm-hmm.
Why? That's the thing that I don't get about that whole situation. It's not about people, pursuing that sort of life, because again, do whatever makes you happy. It's why does it have to be an event? Why not just do it?
Yep.
Why hold a press conference? And what I'm saying, like, that I don't understand. And it's like it's like a whole thing. And I do think that there is definitely the risk going forward, and even now, that people make these leaps for attention or to be relevant because of the world that we live in. And I know that's a horrible thing to say, and that a lot of people won't want to hear that.
Yep,
but
I agree.
But there is a risk of that, because it's a hot issue in society, and it's a quick way to get publicity, and it's a quick way to get your name in the newspaper if you're famous or on social media. So as much as I feel like, it's not something that you should ever question about somebody, at the same time, I feel like not questioning everything is kind of dangerous as well. So I don't know, man. That's a loaded question.
It is a really loaded question.
It's a very loaded question. Hey, like I said, Billy D, you do your thing, man. I'm happy for you.
Yes, congratulations on being gender fluid.
For sure. I just don't understand why. I hadn't heard that. It's kind of weird to me. Not weird that he's doing it. Weird that, as you said,
it came out this late.
The time frame and things like that. I didn't even know Billy Dee Williams was still alive, so congratulations for that too, Billy, if you're out there.
And I guess since we're touching on Star Wars, let's talk about Baby Yoda.
Baby Yoda. Okay, so here, probably the most unpopular opinion of this entire episode, which is crazy considering the last 15 minutes of conversation. But I fucking hate Baby Yoda.
Agreed.
So I like The Mandalorian. I was very excited when I heard about The Mandalorian. I got Disney Plus the day it came out because I needed, I got a giant Chewbacca tattoo. I've been a Star Wars fan since I was 9 years old. When I used to stay home from school, every time I was sick, I would watch all three Star Wars. That was my thing. Star Wars or Indiana Jones. So I grew up on that shit. Like, my favorite picture is me and my sister with the Stormtrooper when we were kids. I'm not even kidding. So I was very excited for The Mandalorian. It's a very well done show. Looks great. But the Baby Yoda thing is kind of out of control. And it's really kind of getting on my nerves because I think it's just a marketing ploy.
Yeah, just a nostalgic kind of like...
Yeah.
Bring people to love this little character just so you can sell some more toys.
100%, because as soon as Baby Yoda became a thing, then they were talking about why is there no Baby Yoda merchandise? And they built up the release of the merchandise and all this shit. And it's just a way to get people to spend money, I feel like. And I guess that's anything.
Yeah,
but
that's the world. But
this one in particular, for some reason, is annoying the shit out of me.
Yeah, especially for me. You are a huge Star Wars fan, and I grew up liking Star Wars as well, but that would be, I guess you would say, episode 4 through 6, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, the original trilogy.
And then I did watch 1 through 3, and it was all right, but I'm not going to lie, I haven't seen any of the new ones. And my kind of reasoning behind that is, I think we kind of went over it. It's not necessarily like fan based, but to me it's like, I like the fact that when someone writes a story, it kind of sticks with that person. And then correct me if I'm wrong, but George Lucas didn't really kind of touch any of these.
No, he sold the rights to everything.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's just this is just kind of they're just kind of twisting it their own way, and it kind of makes me not appreciate it as much because I want to, this is Lucas's baby. I want to hear what Lucas
100%
wants to do with it.
And it's kind of it's such a vast universe, so many movies, so many TV shows, so much centered around the same story that at some point you can't help but think that it just becomes endless fan service in order to make money. And I get it, that's what they're there for. It's a business and things like that. But as far as The Mandalorian and Baby Yoda goes, I don't think it's to the point that I don't think that The Mandalorian was written to enhance the story at all. I think it literally was just written to make money,
Yes.
So that kind of detracts, it cheapens the art. That's my problem with it, is that it makes me feel like The Mandalorian is not a piece of art, it's just a marketing campaign.
I feel you. Because he has no key part. He's just there for some, eye candy.
Well, I mean, the story basically centers around him, I guess. But, I think the whole thing was written just for that purpose. Literally, I think that some designer came up with this model. What if Yoda was a baby? Because he's all old and wrinkly, So they make this Baby Yoda just for shits and giggles, and they got some downtime or something, and then show it to their boss, and everybody loses their shit. We're gonna make $1 million,
Yep.
I don't know.
And they have.
Like I said, hey, watch The Mandalorian. It's really cool. I know a lot of people work on that show. It's a lot of people's livelihoods. I do enjoy it. Full disclaimer. I don't know, man. You see people though. It's just. I think it's just social media. Maybe I'm getting old.
Yeah, it's me. I feel you.
Maybe at 31 I've peaked and I'm just getting that crotchety old man phase real early in life, because it's just when I go on Facebook, and it's just like endless memes of Baby Yoda drinking soup. It's like, dude, okay, yeah, it's kind of a cute thing, but we get it. Baby Yoda's cute. Like, just shut the fuck up, though, man.
I completely agree.
I don't know. I guess that's anything. Like I said, I'm just.
Yeah, we go on social media and we complain a lot,
Yeah.
or I guess we don't. We look at things and complain in our heads a lot.
Yeah, 100%.
But that's why we started the show.
Yeah.
Was to kind of complain.
I think maybe as a person, I just hate everything. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel that. I kind of do. I mean, I just hate. I just think there's a bigger meaning to this whole thing, and I think everything we have is a distraction to finding out that meaning.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, any kind of entertainment is just
Yes.
distraction, and sports, movies, music. It's all just.
Yeah, video games. Like, that's another thing. I play video games. I like video games. But I try to stay away as much as possible because I know it's not.
It's a waste of time.
Yes, it's a complete. And yeah, people get paid now. Oh, you can be a gamer. You can go on Twitch. You can. Okay, well, what happens when there's a solar flare and all of our power goes out? What are you going to do then? Do you know how to filter water?
And I get what you're saying, and I understand both sides of it. I mean, you can look at it as it creates jobs, and not just streaming, but producing video games, selling video games, all that. It gives people things to do, and there's nothing. Hey, full disclaimer: there's nothing wrong with liking video games or
playing
or engaging in any of these distractions. These are things that Scott and I do every single day too. It's just like, if you really, really look at what we're doing with our lives and our time, and I agree with you, because I used to waste endless hours. When Skyrim came out, I played that game for like 72 hours. That's absurd, man.
That's
absurd.
Pretty bad.
I would literally get off work at 4:00 in the afternoon and stay up until midnight, just like swimming in lakes looking for minerals, like accomplishing nothing. Like, literally no linear progress on the story, accomplishing nothing, when I could like be doing anything else to
better yourself,
better myself at something. But
reading and learning, or just picking up a different hobby. And
I fall into that trap all the time too. I play video games sometimes, but I've definitely, the older I've gotten, I've stepped away because of that. It's like now I work I work so many hours, and I have so little free time that it's like, do I really want to sit on my couch for 4 hours and basically do nothing?
Yep. Mm-hmm. I completely feel you. And that's what just kind of freaks me out, is I feel like, but again, we've broke that chain, so I'm hoping a lot of society will eventually maybe feel like us one day and say, hey, what the fuck am I doing playing this game for 12 hours a day?
I think honestly, part of it too is that like nobody has any sort of attention span, myself included, anymore. Like, there's so much going on in the world and so much to gravitate towards that it's hard to focus on any real thing. So I just lose interest in things super quick. Mm-hmm. If I buy a video game for $60, I'll play it for a few hours total and then never touch it again. It's such a waste of money. And
it is so expensive.
I know that about myself, so I just don't do it anymore. You know what I mean?
That weird sound everyone's hearing, that's a watering system. So sorry about that.
I was wondering what that was.
Yeah, it's my plants getting watered.
Yeah.
These are
oregano.
Yeah, these are oregano plants, ladies and gentlemen.
Very healthy eater.
Yep. I got some oregano, some lettuce. Might be the devil's. I'm not sure.
It's legal now here in Michigan.
It is. So. All right, I guess we can kind of go a little bit back to politics. This is a little random, but so I watched a crazy documentary last night. Let me look up what the name of that was, but it was about anti-Semitism, and it was very interesting. But it just kind of brought the fact. What the hell was that called? Of course, since I watched it, it popped off my watch next list. It was basically about how right now, even in America, Jews are kind of in the middle of both left-wing and right-wing people. They're kind of being pulled by both ways. You got the far right that are Nazis who want to kill all the Jews, and then you got the far left who want to not support you, or also, act violent against you if you support Israel because they are pro-Palestine. So they're kind of stuck in the middle of not not being able to live almost, but that kind of brought me to even think about the whole left wing again, about the Nazi, or the right wing with the Nazis, but we got the left wing with also Antifa, and they're pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, they very much are.
And Antifa sees himself as the saviors,
well,
for the right wing, but I mean they act violently.
They're basically vigilantes, or
yes.
they think they're vigilantes.
Yes.
Same thing as what the far right, thinks they are with the like you said, the neo-Nazi thing, or the the white pride, whatever the fuck they call it. It's two sides of the same coin, and the fact that they don't realize it is really kind of fucking hilarious to me. But
yeah, hilarious and scary,
terrifying, 100%. Yeah, I think that anybody who says that I disagree with your ideology so much it's okay to use violence is fucked up. I'm sorry. These people, I see people all the time, even on my Facebook, people that I'm friends with, talking about, punching Nazis and shit like that. Like,
yeah, we get it. Nazis are pieces of shit.
Literal human garbage should not exist. But you know what, folks? Here's the thing about it. We live in America, and of course, America is not what we were sold when we were kids. But there is still a dream that is America, and that dream is a land of freedom, freedom of expression, and that freedom is protected whether you agree with somebody's ideology or not. So if someone claims to be a Nazi, someone is a white supremacist, a racist piece of shit, and in thought and word, you have no right to violently attack them, or they have that right. Mm-hmm. The same with the far left, the Antifa, these people, you have the right to express your opinion. You don't have the right to take physical action against somebody, whether you agree with what they're doing or not.
I completely agree. And the thing too is, like, if you're really against the opposite, you really think that being violent or yelling and screaming and doing whatever the fuck you want to these people is going to change them.
No,
it's
not.
No, exactly. An eye for an eye just makes both of us blind.
It does.
We're not going to solve any issues.
You're never going to change. I mean, and people who are that far to one side or the other, that have that strong opinions that they would, I guess you would classify them as far left or far right. You said it. You're not going to change their opinion by acting in that way. You're not going to change their opinion probably at all. Let's be honest. No,
but I think if you were going to change their opinion, it would probably be by like being super nice to them and showing them
that you have value.
The opposite person is not a fucking asshole.
Yeah, no, you got to demonstrate value. You got to make a human connection. I mean, that's where most people's opinions are shaped, is through their own personal experience. So, if your personal experience with somebody who is far left or far right is that they're a total fucking asshole, then you're gonna naturally, stray away from that. Mm-hmm. But yell and scream, stamp your feet, do whatever you want to do. Like I said, my issue comes where either side thinks it's right to take physical action against another group based on their opinion, and you're wrong. You're totally wrong. And also people who think that these groups, one or the other, don't have the right to demonstrate or gather, or, they're wrong about that too.
I completely agree.
On both sides, that speaks to the left and the right. They both have the opinion to get, I guess, demonstrate. That's not exactly the word I'm looking for, but they have the opinion, they have the right. I'm sorry, they have the right in this country to be visible and to maximize their visibility. So yeah, as much as we both agree that anybody who would ever consider herself a Nazi is a total piece of human garbage, they have the right to gather and demonstrate publicly. That is it's a guaranteed right by the Constitution, and it's a right as a human being, as long as they're not physically affecting the lives of anybody else.
Yeah, I agree. Being I think I'm like 10% or something like that. Being 10% Jew, I don't support Nazism, but if they're here and I can't do anything about it, I'm not going to...
Being 100% human, I don't support Nazism.
Exactly. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
But I support anybody's right to personal freedom.
Yes,
I mean,
to their beliefs.
That's something that you will hear me say again and again as we have these discussions on this podcast, is that I always support personal freedom in everything.
Even if we don't...
Whether I agree with their opinions or not.
So, I don't know. I that was pretty much it on my list for today. Do you got any stories or anything you want to...
I haven't really done any research. I'm not going to lie, so I don't really have too much.
This was just me
for this one. This is
fondling through.
Yeah, this is kind of just a trial. We're going to figure out how this is going to go as we go along. But basically, What we envision is that we'll kind of just sit down and talk about what's happening in the world.
Current events.
Give our take on it, things that we notice, things that are happening in the news. If for some reason somebody decides to listen to this and you have something that you want to hear us talk about, then, feel free to contact us once we get that email set up, and we're more than happy to. But basically, what it all comes down to is we just want to encourage people to think. Don't formulate your opinion of anything based on what you see people around you saying their opinion is. Don't have an opinion about something because you think that it shapes your image, or, I want to be viewed as X type of person, because there is no X type of person. Everybody is individual. Anybody who lives their lives because of the standards of one certain group or one certain sort of image, you're not really living. So just take the time to think for yourself and look at both sides of everything and be open to new ideas, and love each other.
Completely agree.
That's it. We're all in this thing together. The world is a dark and ugly place, but human beings are not. We just pretend like we are.
Yeah, we're all gonna die one day, guys. So let's die by our own hand and not by someone else's.
Yeah, let's die. Let's live
a full life.
We're all gonna die. We're all gonna die one day. So let's live according to our own standards.
Yes. So I guess this will be the end, and we'll wrap this up for you guys. We hope you enjoyed our first somewhat episode of Sorry If You're Offended. And I'm Scott.
And I'm Drew.
And we'll see you next week.
Take care, guys.